Skyway Trader here. Continuing on with the funded journey for my Apex 300K accounts, funded accounts. Continuing with Monday, April 21st. So it took a few more trades following my last post, and actually, overall ended up being good. Wanted to go over with it or go over that with you guys. So we see that price consolidated here. We broke out of the range that was created here, took out these lows, and then eventually took out the highs here. And we created this very strong SIBI here during right after midnight and going into London session. So because of this consolidation here, I was kind of expecting a move after the session ended, Asia session. But in hindsight, I understand why it didn't, because obviously we had this big move over here prior or during our Asia session, and then the Asia session kind of ended with a consolidation, so it makes sense. But anyways, I'll run through the trade. So we created this SIBI, and within that SIBI we had an inverse going down. So kind of, honestly, we have a kind of a bias now that we took out highs. I'm expecting lower prices. So this is technically a plus setup for me, but we did get stopped out, or I did get stopped out because price ultimately showed that it was within this new range and it was just swinging back and forth. So, that's fine. It happens. I was dejected after these past losses because this was a significant loss, or this wasn't a significant loss. This was okay loss, but then I took a bigger loss on gold after this. So then this was the third loss, but I kept at it and just kept observing, and so I went back to gold here and had this unfold. So this is where I took the first loss, or my second loss here, where price just kind of really went against me. But it reacted to the SIBI and created a V-shape, resistance. And we had low resistance liquidity that was formed here, and then we had this liquidity level right here as well that could be targeted. Really strong momentum up, through this. This would have been ideal if I was paying attention or I was looking at gold at the time, but I wasn't, so I kind of missed this. And then we had another kind of, swinging through all swinging the price action, kind of consolidating. And I took this as the wedge pattern here, the wedge consolidation, and we formed this SIBI through that price action, which we didn't quite get through here. We kind of chopped through, but then we had some good momentum coming up. So I went ahead and entered as this candle closed, and the drawdown or the stop would be below the inverse for value gap here, which is pretty, a little bit larger stop, but I managed risk. And then once we got through the chop, price finally started going for the LRLR. So we took out a couple of LRLRs here. We had this remaining, and then obviously this guy up here. So as I held onto this position, and then once we got to around here, like right here, as we broke or started breaking through again, and we broke through this inverse here, I decided to add when I got back into the positive because I was expecting this liquidity to be run pretty quick. And then I added again as this liquidity got run because I was expecting price to kind of, take off from this point. However, it didn't quite take off, and it showed kind of resistance. I saw this wick here, wick here, wick here. So as soon as I added here, like I was managing my stop loss by basically making sure stop was above break even once we added here, and kind of basically got stopped out in profit with this big candle. So it was a small profit, but uh, you know, whatever. Like it was fine. I had to let the trade go because there was nowhere to get back in here to see this move go to target. This kind of wasn't ideal either. So, but I mean, I wasn't, once this kind of went, I was like, okay, well, I had already kind of endured a lot here, so I was just like, okay, well, if it's not gonna be an easy win, I'm just gonna let it go. Finally, kind of switched back over to NQ, and we broke out of this range on the buy side, took out the buy side here, and we ended up breaking or forming this inverse fair value gap here, and price moved down with quite a bit of momentum here, showing like a breakdown of price. And again, another A plus setup. We got obviously we're delivering off this higher time frame PD array. We've taken out buy side. We have all these civvies right here, like this civvy in particular that we're delivering from. So this was a great setup. Another A plus, and well, you know what? I don't know if I should give A plus for this just because A plus in the sense that if we're looking at it from here to here, definitely A plus because we're in premium. But overall in the higher time frame, we had moved significantly. But the reason it's strong is because this higher time frame was inversed. This higher time frame BISI was inverse to the downside. And so we and then put all these other confluences with this, and this should be a pretty good setup. This technically should have also been, but I think looking back actually, like the better setup was here. If we formed this inverse here, if we draw that out and we had to close here, actually that all got invalidated. So that wasn't an inverse either, or that wasn't a valid trade here either. Yeah, no. If I had taken a trade here, I would be way in discount based on this range, aiming for these lows. So I did wait for the pullback into the CIBI and utilize that. I was thinking I would get a continuation trade out of that, and I didn't, or it didn't work out, but it's okay. But this one definitely showed quite a bit of promise, and we were in London session at this point as well. So this was kind of, the only reason I, thought to take it was because we'd just taken buy side, and it was like, it looked like a strong continuation trade. So this would probably be like more like an A setup, maybe even maybe even B, because technically from this range we're still in discount when I got in. So, but anyways, this was in premium for sure. Premium of this range from here to here. I had set a limit order because of how low this closed below the inverse. I set a limit, or I think I don't know if I bought market. I can't remember now. I bought market right as this wick entered up here. I'm pretty sure I put a limit, although I don't think I would get this perfect to fulfill if I tried to sell market. But I put a limit here, and price immediately went in my direction. Stop above this this area up here. This impulse above the impulse here, and price as soon as it was like back in the green from or as soon as it was green and was coming close to here, I decided to add. It pulled back on me, but respected and I moved stop like right above here, and then price respected the inverse again and started coming down again. So I added again and reduced risk, and price just sank straight to this TP right here. I managed to hold through all these lows, and I stopped, or I took the position off there. So really rough start to this day for sure. I did, looking in hindsight, I was forcing some trades. I feel like I forced those earlier trades. But these trades that I took, I felt like were way more, according to my setup, and followed my entry and my strategy. And though I was like, kind of, upset about, being in the red. I always remember that whenever we get like consolidation, we're just waiting for a breakout of that range and, looking to, capitalize to go to the other direction. So, I always tell myself, that move, it's coming. You just got to wait for the right time. And I traded in the wrong times, the end of Asia session and then after Asia session. Sometimes it works out. Like I don't regret taking this trade because really, like, there's a lot of times where you have consolidation right before the end of a session, and then you go into the period between, a kill zone and another kill zone, and you see, a great movement, of price. It's just that I think in this case, the move had already been exhausted, and that's why that accumulation was occurring. And that move did happen during Asia session, and so I had to recognize that. Excuse me, I had to recognize that, and take that into consideration. Anyways, that's it for this video. Yeah. See you guys later.